Hello everyone, welcome to the AI Accountant. Today we are going to see meaning and definition of performance, key aspects of performance, types of performance, and essentials of a valid performance. So, first learn what is performance, okay? Meaning of performance. Performance means the fulfillment of contractual obligation by the parties involved. Performance simply means the fulfillment means the finishing, the completion of a contractual means that has been written in the contractual obligation. What does an obligation means? Obligation means an action that need to be done, or you can simply say as duties. When the duties have been completed, fulfilled as per the contract, that is what we call this as performance. Duties that has been fulfilled means fulfillment of contractual obligation that has been fulfilled, completed according to the contract is called as performance. By whom it has been completed? By the parties who were involved in the contract. It is the act of carrying out promises made in a contract. It simply means the act of completing, the carrying out of the promises that has been listed in the contract, which can involve action or which can either be done or cannot be done. Which can, in contract we can also mention the actions, or we can also mention the inactions. Let's see the key aspects of performance. Fulfillment of obligation. As I have told earlier, performance is the completion of the promises made by the each party. There are two parties, they are completing their obligation, they are fulfilling their obligation, they are completing the promises that have been made in the contract. That is what we'll call as a performance. If the full obligation has, after the fulfillment of obligation, what happened is the contract is discharged. What does a discharge means? The contract is considered as discharged and they have performed their obligation. Once both the parties have performed their obligation, now they don't have any legal relationship between them. They have completed both their obligation, so it is considered as a discharge. The contract has been discharged and they are no longer bound by its terms. Now the contract is no longer used and they are no longer under the liability of a contract. For example, let's see an example here. Okay, A and B enter into a contract. A is a person and B is a person. Both are entering into a contract. The terms of the contract state that A must deliver a book to B. What does the terms of the contract is simple, that A have to deliver a book to B on payment of the consideration of 500 rupees. Now what will B do? B will pay a consideration, something in return as 500 rupees. The book is for 500 rupees. A has to give the book for B. B will pay 500 rupees. Here B pays 500 rupees to A as stipulated in the contract. A delivers book to him. Simply A goes and delivers the book. B pays him 500 rupees. Now that is the completion of the contract. That is the first, that's a fulfillment of obligation. The obligation has been fulfilled first and then the contract has been discharged. First the obligation has been fulfilled and then the contract has been discharged. Now let's see the definition. As per the section 37 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, the parties to a contract must either perform. The first thing is they must perform, okay? They must either perform or offer to perform. Offer to perform means they must either, the offeree must either show his intention to perform that offer. Their respective promises, they should perform or offer to perform their respective promises. Unless such performance is dispensed with or excused under the provision of the law. Unless and until they have to must perform or offer to perform. But under certain condition it can be dispensed or excused means it can be backed out. What does backed out means? It can be finished because of certain conditions of the law, certain valid reason it can be backed out, okay? It can be excused or it can be dispensed with, okay? First the must reason is to either to perform or offer to perform. But if these thing doesn't happen, if something happens according to the court of law or the act, it can be dispensed under the valid, valid legal reason. Types of performance. Now we'll come to know the types of performance. Is it clear? Yeah. Types of performance. There are two types of performance which is actually easy to understand. The first thing is actual performance, when the promiser has made an offer of performance to the promisee, and the offer has been, there must be a space here, has been accepted by the promisee, it is called as actual promisee. The contractual obligations are actually performed whereby the liability of party under the contract come to an end. What does actual performance simply means? Actual performance simply means the performance where a promiser is offering to do something and the promisee is accepting that offer. The promiser is offering and the promisee is accepting. That is simply, and they both perform their liability. They both perform their obligation. When promiser is giving something in consideration, promisee is giving any other thing, that came to an end of their performance. Okay, that is what we call it as actual performance. They have come to an end of the contractual obligation. Their contractual obligation, they have fulfilled the contractual obligation, and whereby the liability of the party under the contract comes to an end. It comes to an end if they have fulfilled the contractual obligation, fulfillment of obligation. Attempted performance or attempted to perform. Attempted, by this word itself, it seems that there has been made an attempt by the promiser there to make a contract, but due to the refusal of the promisee, it is not feasible to make a performance. Let's learn this here. Where the promiser has made an offer of performance to the promisee. The promiser is ready here and he is making an offer to the promisee. Okay, and the offer has not been accepted by the promisee. That offer has not been accepted by the promisee. The promiser has made the offer, but the promisee doesn't accept that offer. It is called as attempted performance. There was an attempt to make a contract, or there was an attempt to make a performance, but here the promisee refused or didn't accept it. That is what we called it as attempt of performance. So, and the legal provision under section 38 of the Indian Contract Act, where a promiser has made an offer of performance to the promisee. Okay, the promiser has made the offer. That is the same thing mentioned here, and the offer has not been accepted. Okay, the promiser has made the offer, but the promisee doesn't accept the offer. The promisee is not responsible for non-performance. The promiser is not responsible for non-performance and does not lose his rights under the contract. Now, as the promisee has refused the contract, the promiser is not responsible to fulfill that obligation. He is not responsible for non-performance. He is not responsible for non-fulfillment and the rights under the contract. He does not need to fulfill the rights under the contract. This means if the promiser has genuinely offered to perform, the promiser has offered here, but the promisee refuses. The promiser discharged from liability. The promiser doesn't have any liability because promisee has refused. So let's see the essentials of a valid performance. Unconditional. What does it mean by it must be unconditional? Means the offer must be without any condition that are not mentioned in the contract. It must not be bounded with any additional condition other than the contract. The contract might contain some conditions, but other than that, no conditions should be mentioned extraordinarily. Unconditional. A promises to deliver 100 bags of rice to B. Okay, A is promising what? To deliver 100 bags of rice. A must offer to deliver them exact as per contract terms. A must what? A must deliver them as per the exact contract terms. If he delivering 100, if his promises to deliver 100 means A must deliver 100 bag as per contract term, not subject to new condition like only if B pays the transportation charges. So it should not include any other new condition like B should pay the transportation charges. No. Whatever condition that has been written in the contract, only those conditions can be fulfilled. No other condition will be added. B won't pay the transportation charge and it has not been written in the contract. It must be made at proper time and place, fixed for performance or within reasonable time if not specified. So the offer should be made means the offer should be made and fulfilled within the correct time and place which is fixed for performance. If A has to deliver in correct that place, it has to be delivered in correct place within the reasonable time. If the time has not been specified, they can take within a reasonable time, it has to be fulfilled. If delivery is to be made on 10th November at B shop, offering on 12th November would not be a valid tender, right? It not be a valid offer. If it has been promised to deliver at 10th November, it must be completed, fulfilled at the 10th November itself. If doing the delivery at the 12th November does not fulfill the terms of the contract, the promiser must be ready and willing to perform.
Promiser should always be ready and willing to perform anywhere at any time. He should show his genuine willingness towards completing the performance and to fulfill his promise. For example, A comes with goods at B's home to deliver them but finds B absent. A is the promiser here and he is fulfilling his obligation. He is fulfilling the promise, but B was absent. A's tender is valid. Now A is valid. A's offer is valid, but B was absent.
It must give the promisee a reasonable opportunity to inspect the good and verify the performance. There must be a correct time and opportunity to. There must be a correct time and opportunity to inspect, to check the goods and services provided by the offeree. If the contract involves goods or documents, the promisee offering goods without allowing inspection is not a valid tender. Offering giving them goods without allowing proper time and proper chance to inspect them or to examine them does not constitute a proper tender. It must be made to proper person. The offer
or fulfillment of obligation must be made to the proper promisee or someone who is authorized by the promisee. Fulfilling the obligation to whom we doesn't know doesn't constitute a proper performance. For example, offering payment to an unauthorized clerk of the promisee is not a valid offer, like delivering the goods or services to whom an unauthorized clerk whom we doesn't know and it doesn't constitute a valid offer.
It must be for the whole obligation. The tender must cover the entire performance, not a partial one. So, if the promise has been made, there is certain condition in the contract. All the condition must be fulfilled. The entire performance must be fulfilled, not a part performance, not a partial one. Okay, whole obligation. If A owes 10,000 rupees, if A owes B 10,000 rupees, offering 8,000 a valid offer is not a valid offer to perform. Like if A owes B 10,000 rupees, the B should pay back 10,000 rupees, not 8,000 rupees. So this is all for the video. If you had liked this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. I will give this link in the description box as well as in the pinned comments.